Hey there, Bethany again with Simply for Life, and we're talking today about the Fit Fiber Challenge. And this last video here is the video all about trying to get these veggies into our children. So being a mom, I know exactly what this is like. So this one seems to be the hardest one I find for families, and there seems to be a huge battleground going on at the dinner table, and it's very stressful. So I'm going to give you some tips, easy tips today to get more fiber into your kids' bellies. So today we're going to talk more about the insoluble fiber. So insoluble fiber, remember, is not dissolved in water. So like I said, this seems to be the toughest one to get into children, teenagers, and the first thing I want you to kind of know is there's a few things. First thing is you want to start them as young as possible. So if you've got little toddlers and stuff and you think that they're not going to eat it, this is where we need to start, because their first introduction to fruits and vegetables, there's certain things that children will and won't like. Second is if you give them choices, whether they're 4 years old, 5 years old, 10 years old, 12 years old, 14 years old even. We want to give them more choices so then they feel like they actually have a say in what they're eating. And third, don't make the dinner table a battleground, because really this is where a lot of us, we need to let it go, and we need to just try again another night. So sometimes like adults, we have preferences with our foods, and kids are pretty much the same. So for example, my two boys, one loves Brussels sprouts and broccoli and even asks me to buy them. And that sounds a little insane being that he's 10 years old. And the other one loves tomatoes and pickles and will eat them until pretty much the jar is gone, and tomatoes too, right? So every child is different, and they're not always gonna love the same foods. They're gonna have different preferences. And a lot of the times with children, a lot of it has to do with texture, just as much as it has to do with the food itself and the flavor, right? So just like that with adults too. So here's some sneaky ways to get some more insoluble fiber into your teenagers' daily diet. So the first thing is, if they're little, take them to the grocery store with you and say, which fruit and vegetable would you like? Give them a choice and say this one or this one. With older teens, things like that, obviously get them to pick it themselves. Then it also kind of gives them a little bit of shopping experience, and I do that with my boys as well. So they actually help put the vegetables, put the fruits inside the bags and put them in the grocery cart, so they feel like they're contributing. The next thing with even little kids under the age of 5, they can still choose kind of what vegetable for dinner. So for instance, with my kids, I'd always say okay, which veggie are we gonna use today? I'm gonna make a stir fry. Do you want peppers? Do you want carrots? And they would pick, and then they would actually eat it because they made that decision for themselves. One thing I noted with my youngest, when he was about 3, I could not get him to eat salads. He'd eat all the other vegetables, but he would not eat a salad, and I couldn't understand why. So then one day I just basically gave him a cutting board, a really dull knife, and said, okay, start chopping some vegetables and put them in this big bowl. Well, as soon as he started doing that, he found it super fun. And then I'm like, okay, what dressing do you want? We have this one or this one, and he picked it. We put the salad dressing on, tossed the salad, and got him to do that. And I remember him sitting at the table and saying to me, I love salad now. So it was just that simple. Really, I got him to do it, gave him a little job to do, and for some reason, just because he made it himself, he loved it. So if you got a couple little kids that are adamant that they're not eating what mom or dad has made, sometimes just giving them like a grater or like a dull knife to use, and to get them to sit and chop at the kitchen counter or something while you're doing other stuff and you're doing the dinner in the kitchen, it really seems to help. And it also gives them skills in the kitchen. So that's a mom tip right there. Root vegetables, so things like carrots, this is really good just to cut them and make them into fries. Like I said before, like turnip fries, you can make carrot fries, you can make yam fries, you can make sweet potato fries, which is a little bit different tasting. I love using potatoes, but I like to vary it up, and also using things like beets. You can make chips out of them as well. So I find if you even cut things into the shape of the food that they're wanting, like fries or chips, they tend to eat them more as well. So sometimes with kids, it's just the way we cook it, and roasting them really brings out the sugary texture to the fruits, sorry, not the fruits, the vegetables. So I usually put a little bit of oil in there, some sea salt, and it crisps up the food, and they love it. If I boil it, then they're like, I'm good. I really don't want to eat that today. So that's why I usually say sometimes just changing the way you're cooking foods as well. Another tasty foods that kids usually love is corn on the cob, because again, it's fun, it's adventurous. You get this giant corn and you get to kind of eat it. So, you know, put butter all over it, dairy-free butter if you obviously lactose intolerant, and salt and pepper, and that's something that kids will also eat, and that's got lots of fiber in there as well. Now, talking about kind of whole grains, like I said before, oatmeal is a really good one for the morning breakfast. This is something that is plain oatmeal. There's no like package like stuff that you put in there, like the instant oatmeals with all the sugars and stuff. We put our own stuff in, whether it's like maple syrup or cinnamon. We put oat milk or almond milk, raisins, maybe different fruits. But another one I like to suggest is quinoa. So quinoa you can buy in bulk, and it's actually fairly easy to make. You make it sort of similar to pasta, so you want to have the water boiling first and you toss it in, and then it basically comes out really soft and fluffy, and it almost looks like couscous. So you're going to boil that up, and you can actually, it's quite plain tasting, so you can put it with a lot of different dishes. You can make it with dinners. I usually use it for breakfast actually, so I put it in the fridge cold, and then I'll put some milk in a pan, heat it up, put a little bit of the cooked quinoa in there, a little bit of maple syrup and some raisins, and the kids are all over that, and it's very filling as well because it has lots of fiber in it. Now also, when picking out things like crackers is a huge one for children because it's a filler and it's a quick way just to give them a snack. And when their blood sugars are dropping, this one is where I usually say to parents, like, read your ingredient labels, because everything we get out of a box, you want to have it be 6 ingredients or less. Now that seems like a lot, like where 6 ingredients, how are you going to find anything? But you want to find kind of something that's whole grain, that doesn't have any like powdered milk products in it or added sugars or things like that, or anything white refined, because that is going to spike our kids' insulin levels and make their blood sugars and everything all over the place, their moods all over the place. And this is where we want to make sure that our kids' moods, and especially teenagers and stuff, are stable throughout the day. So this is where we want to have more of that fiber in. And like I said, anything less than 6 ingredients, you want to make sure to get that whole grain in, and it makes them full as well, because you don't want to just keep buying more and more food, and the kids will just go through half a box of white crackers and still be really hungry as well. So I hope you got some really good tips here today on feeding your family some more fiber and getting that in. So thanks for stopping by and watching the videos. And if you have any questions and need help with adding more fiber to your kids' diet, to your diet, I'd love to connect with you on a virtual 1-hour nutrition consultation. So thank you so much. Bye for now, lovely.